Good afternoon. We've got a update for you as far as this potential winter storm. As if you can remember from yesterday's video, which you can rewatch that one if you so desire, it looks like the official forecast now has freezing rain as the main threat for the Charlotte metro region. Again, like we said yesterday, along and south of I-40, pretty much could expect some ice. And there's been some interesting evolutions in the model, interesting trends, especially in the ECMWF model and some of the ensembles like the GEFS and the National Blend of Models. It looks like, timing this out, it looks like Asheville and Greenville, Spartanburg will be the first to report some snowfall. That's probably beginning late Saturday morning, early Saturday afternoon, getting into Columbia, Charlotte, and perhaps Greenville or Greensboro in the mid to late afternoon hours. Meanwhile, snow will ramp up across portions of Virginia and West Virginia as Saturday afternoon bleeds into Saturday evening. And that's when the transition to ice occurs on the southern fringe, especially in southern North Carolina and the upstate of South Carolina. Saturday night into Sunday morning, we expect snow to transition to sleet and freezing rain. And you're probably looking at a more of an ice storm south of I-40 than a snowstorm. A snowstorm north of I-40, especially in places like Virginia, where we'll take a look at one of the models here, the MBM model, which is one of my favorite models because it is a conglomerate of all models that you've ever seen before. You can see some of this lighter snowfall. This is snow totals from now until the 7 a.m. on the 27th of January. Some of these snowfall totals are cut down from sleet and freezing rain infiltrating the precipitation type. So, if there's not snow falling, then it's going to not accumulate. That's the long and short of it. Meanwhile, up towards Washington, D.C. And northern Virginia, we can expect some pretty hefty snow totals from this storm. You're going to measure that in like feet. Probably more than 12 inches, 12 to 20 inches up here. This is going to be crazy. The ice, though, is going to be a big problem. Sleet and freezing rain, up to a half inch of ice possible. It only takes a quarter of an inch for damage to start to occur. Power outages. The Charlotte metro region could expect up to half an inch of ice so far. But let me show you one example of some of the trends that we've seen in these models. So here is the European model, courtesy of College of DuPage. Their NextLab website, superb. This is the 12Z run this morning of the Euro, and what we're looking at is surface pressure in the black lines, wind in the barbs, and the shading is the temperature, the 2-meter temperature. This is surface temperature. If we pull this forward, you can see this cools down. We got a classic cold air damming event that is looks like it's shaping up for parts of the upstate of South Carolina. And according to this one, this is Saturday night, all the way down into Columbia. 29 degrees in Columbia, 24 towards Raleigh, Durham, and 21 towards Richmond, Virginia, and even colder the northward you go. And as precipitation starts to fall, this cools off a little bit more due to some dynamic cooling. But look at this. Look at this warm air on the west side of the Appalachian Mountains. Now, here, this is an interesting feature because this looks like a Miller type B storm. And typically, when you have Miller type B storms, the Piedmont of North Carolina, even parts of Virginia, and especially the upstate of South Carolina, experiences an ice storm. Interestingly enough, freezing rain is a self-eliminating process. If you do not have enough cold air being drawn down or brought in, the mere fact that water freezes heats up the atmosphere. So essentially, if you have enough freezing rain and no warm air advection, or I'm sorry, cold air advection, if you have freezing rain and no strong enough cold air advection, that freezing rain actually increases the temperature to freezing. And at that point, you could just have rain, right? So if we do not have enough cold air advection at the surface to replace or to eliminate the heating that it takes for ice to form, you're going to have a transition to rain. Now, because of the strength of this low pressure centers, both off the coast of the Virginia and in what looks like a pretty disorganized area of low pressure in maybe eastern Kentucky, somewheres around there, you might have some enough lift or enough pull or enough suction up in that vacuum to where the temperature actually, warm air is vected into the Charlotte metro region, and this precipitation could end, ironically enough, as rain, especially in the upstate of South Carolina. Look at these temperatures: 35 in Greenville, Spartanburg, and 33 towards Rock Hill. You're on the verge of rain in Raleigh, 31. Now, in Virginia, especially east of the mountains, in Virginia, you are solidly in the 20s. There is no question there. No question there. The question is what happens in the Piedmont of North Carolina and the upstate of South Carolina. And some of the ensemble members, the Euro ensemble, some of the members of the GEFS, and some of the AI models do have a transition to rain across the Charlotte metro area, just as it's ending. Now, is that going to eliminate all the snow and ice? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You are still going to experience some snow and some ice, especially the ice. But it might end as rain. I'm just saying. Now, what happens after that is some strong cold air advection will take over and temperatures will plummet, especially Monday night into Tuesday, potentially. Now, another interesting trend that we've seen in the Euro is that the heart of the cold air is kept north of North Carolina and South Carolina. So the temperatures Monday night into Tuesday may or may not be in the single digits. I know at one point in time it was in the single digits. Here we have 20 at 1 a.m. This doesn't go out far enough, but look at these temperatures across northern Virginia, West Virginia, and even into Pennsylvania. That's not my area, but negative 10 degrees. Towards Pittsburgh, negative 6. Yikes. That is cold. So the trends in the models look more like an ice storm across the Charlotte metro region, getting into the Raleigh-Durham area and the Columbia, South Carolina area. Further to the north in Virginia, that's a pretty good ice storm or snowstorm. Snow in Virginia, ice in the Carolinas, with the exception of the mountains of North Carolina. Yeah, that's it. So the models are still, ingesting data. They're doing their thing. As far as accumulations go, if we go back to the NBM model, go back to here, and if we take a look at some of these totals down towards Columbia, you can expect around an inch of snow. Charlotte, maybe 1 to 2 inches. Up towards Raleigh-Durham, a little bit more, 3, maybe 4 inches of snow. About 4 inches in Greensboro. If we go over here towards Richmond, Virginia, we're measuring this as a foot of snow. Charlottesville, 15 to 16 inches. And over here towards Front Royal, almost 20 inches. Almost 20 inches. So that's the way it's shaping up right now. These totals will be adjusted as the storm gets closer and closer to us. As far as updates, I'll plan to do another update sometime tomorrow, probably a little bit earlier in the day, as soon as the 12Z model suite gets available to me. Now, I do not pay for anything, so all I'm using is free stuff. So, you get what you pay for. Well, I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you tomorrow.